Middle-aged gamers, Hades 2 is finally here, and I just spent my first hour with the full release of the game. And I just want to share 5 things I noticed right away that stood out compared to the first game. Gotta say, first of all, Hades 1, the combat really resonated with me, and with number 2, combat feels fresh right from the start. Unlike the first Hades, we had to wait a bit for ranged options. Here, immediately right out of the gate, you're given a ranged attack. Add in the magic ability, which also offers a ranged option, plus charge variations of all your attacks when you hold on the respective buttons. And you've got a combat system that feels flexible and layered right away. Again, I remembered, like, the game started and there's no tutorial or anything like that. And I started the game like, okay, cool, now what do I do? And I pressed the usual button, and then I did my melee attack. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Then I pressed another one, like, oh wow, this is a ranged attack, that is different. Then I press another button, I'm like, oh, this is some sort of area of effect thing. Didn't know what it was until later on in the game. So you have a lot of options in combat, and then after you die your first time and you go into the area where you can sort of modify abilities, get to see some of the other weapons that are available, and you have some options for this game very similar to Hades 1. But again, combat is definitely much more layered, giving you lots of options for which to approach combat, and depending on the kind of person you am. And again, as you guys know, I'm a ranged combat person, so I definitely prefer ranged, and that's how I ended up defeating the second boss. But let's talk about the action, right? Moving on to number 2. The second thing I noticed was that, like, again, you're thrown straight into the action, right? I remember Hades 1, which I played on the original Switch, that sort of explained things to you, and sort of like, okay, this is how the game works, this is what happens when you die, this is how you upgrade stuff, this is what this means. This game didn't explain anything into me. I just clicked start, I chose my save slot, and then it was straight into the game, straight into the combat. I mean, there's symbols, right, as you're familiar with Hades 1, where you're like, okay, do I choose this door, or do I choose that door? And you're like, Hades 1 was quite a few years ago, so I did not remember what anything meant. So I guessed, and then as I made my way through my first hour, so I'm like, okay, I sort of understand what some of this stuff means, but there are still things in the game that I have no idea what it honestly means. But it's fun learning on the fly. It's fun when the impact of not knowing some things doesn't feel like, oh my god, if I don't know this, this ruins the game. And in Hades 2, it feels like, okay, sure, I'm gonna get to know it at some point, but I'm still having fun, I'm still killing things, I'm still making progress in the game. You know, talking about progress, right? Hades 1 and Hades 2, there's definitely, at least on PC, a graphical upgrade. The game is gorgeous. I'm running it at 4K 60 on high settings with no issues whatsoever. I have an AMD 9600X processor with an RTX 5070, and absolutely perfect, right? I could actually probably upgrade the settings and make it like 4K 60 Ultra. I haven't even bothered to do that because I just wanted to play the game today. Despite being off, I still have other things to do, like make this particular video. So the Supergiant's art style shines even more on PC. Again, playing it on a 32-inch screen at 4K, and it looks great. It offers that sort of slightly refreshed look compared to the first game. And again, for me as well, I played the first game on the original Nintendo Switch, and playing this on PC definitely does make things look better to me, and I enjoy certain things more. Again, because I also played the first one on handheld modes, I didn't play it on a big 50-inch TV, so I'm definitely enjoying this aspect of the game. Number 4, and this is something I still appreciate even now, even though I'll probably have a lot more time in November, is the game respects your time. So just like the first game, right? You're playing in small bite-sized areas. So the very first area that you play in, right, you probably kill everything if you're super fast and you're familiar with the game, or maybe you played it in early access, which I didn't. You're probably done in a minute, 2 minutes or so. And the way Hades 2 works is that it saves your progress at the end of each small bite-sized area. So if you play for like 15 minutes or 3 to 4 bite-sized areas, you can stop, you can put the controller down, you can go to bed, you can wake up the next day, and you can continue to play where you left off, which is absolutely wonderful, especially if you might not have a lot of time to game and you want to game or more, or at least be consistent about your gaming. You can do that with Hades 2, right? It's not waiting for an X amount of time so that, okay, now I can finally save, right? Or it's not like I'm playing Story of Seasons at Grand Bazaar, where if I want to play 3 days of Story of Seasons, it usually takes 1 hour and 10 minutes, which is over the 1 hour of time I have allotted for gaming. So I wish more games were like this and they respected the players' times and schedules. It's a fantastic game, and I really love that this time, or maybe it was even the first time, that I can play Hades 2 and not have to worry that, oh my god, am I waiting for a save point. The next thing I noticed as well is like the storytelling and bosses are just as engaging as the very first game. Amazing music. And one of the things I was doing before this game was released, I was listening to the Hades 1 soundtrack and just enjoying the music and the memories it brought back. And in this game as well, talking about the voice acting is there. There are parts in the game where it'll be like, hey, hit the right button on your controller to learn about this thing. And you get the voice and like, oh wow, this is actually really interesting. The bosses were also pretty fair. In my first hour or so, I died at the first boss just from being I was still experimenting with controls. And the second time, I got my ranged attack with a bonus for Frost, and that totally helped me clear the boss no problem. And it was a great balance, especially coming off Silksong, playing that for the last 3 weeks. I feel like this game has a really good balance of difficulty, but also access. So even as someone who's not familiar with roguelikes, like Hades got me into the whole roguelike genre, this is definitely the game for you. You don't have to have played the first one. The first one is really good. I definitely recommend it to people, but this is definitely for someone, if you bought a new PC, this is going to make your new PC stand out, or if you've got a Switch 2 as well, definitely consider that. So overall, my first hour was absolutely gorgeous. It was amazing. It was fun. It already feels like a game I could mainline for the next 2 weeks. It also works perfectly as a fuller game, especially October is going to be my last month working at the company I'm working for at the moment. So I'm going to be pretty busy because so many things are going on. One of my coworkers is on holiday. So this game is definitely going to be very good for those moments where I don't have 1 hour to play and I can play for 15-20 minutes. So if you enjoyed today's video, you want to see more Hades 2 content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and that will let me know to continue making content. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.